Hey shifters! Just kidding. I have to keep you guys on your toes. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some new releases from Shellwe makeup. I've been so busy with work and other things in my personal life, so I haven't been able to upload as frequently as usual. So right at the top, I want to say that I did receive all of these in PR from Shellwe makeup. I am an affiliate with the brand. If you use my code SEEKINGSHIFTS, you'll save 10% on your purchase. And thank you so much for the support. If you do choose to use my code, I do earn a small commission, and it really helps with supporting my channel and scientific endeavors. So with that being said, of course, I do have some bias toward the brand, but as always, I'm going to try to remain as fair and objective as possible. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with the Mist Witch palette. So this comes in two sizes, which I love that Shellwe does it. So they have the full size palette, which retails for $49 USD without any codes applied. Then the mini size palette, which retails for $25 US. First, I want to say the thought and care that they put into the packaging of these is one of the things I really love about this brand. Like, I'm going to have some footage up of how they came packaged. And this isn't just like for the PR. This is what they come like when you order them from the website. I know it's like a small thing. I think it really contributes to the overall experience. You know what I mean? Okay, so the full size palette has 26mm pans. I will say they're a little bit more shallow than a traditional like single shadow. They're about the same height as the ColourPop palette, like full size shades, if you're familiar with those. And they are magnetic and removable, which I love. You can use them in custom palettes. You can rearrange them. I love to see it. In the mini palette, they are removable as well. They're the same size as the shades in the other mini palettes, so you can kind of mix and match between those if you have multiple of the mini palettes, which is really cool. You get 5 mattes. 4 are regular powder mattes and 1 is a cream to powder. 5 shimmers. They're all what I would consider to be quote unquote special shades. So as usual, I'm just going to briefly describe each of the shimmers to you. I don't think they don't have any names on them, so I'm just going to show you them. So first we have this beautiful, intense blue iridescent. It shifts from a sky blue to indigo to purple. Surprisingly unique. I mean, of course, that's subjective. So reflective. It is a bit on the flaky side, but it feels soft to the touch, and then it just smooths out to this glossy, lustrous, I don't know why that's the first word that came to my head, reflective finish. And again, it is just such a potent blue. Next, we have this very light, soft pink. I don't think it has any shift to it, but it is a really beautiful shimmer. Very dimensional, has different sizes and colors of sparkle particles. When you sheer it out, it creates almost this crushed diamond-like effect because you see so many different particles reflecting light in different ways. And this feels pretty similar to that first shade in that it is a bit on the flakier side. It smooths out to this dimensional, sparkly finish. This is one that I think looks best when it's sheared out. This next one is just stunning. It looks like a really pale, dusty lavender in the pan, but it's another one that's just packed with so many different colored sparkle particles. There's green, fuchsia, gold, silver. Like, this is another one that I think looks really nice when it's sheared out because you can just see all the different like almost confetti like sparkles in there. It feels a little less flaky than the first two I showed you. The particle size seems a lot smaller, and it does feel pretty densely packed in the pan, but I've used this twice. I haven't had any issues picking it up. Okay, so I'm reviewing my footage and I'm realizing how similar this shimmer looks to the last one I showed you. So I was reflecting on my experience with the palette, and I do think that in practice they are going to be quite similar and that they're both almost colorless topper like shades. So just wanted to add that note in. This next one has a sky blue base, and then I don't know that I see any shift in it, but I see a bunch of different color sparkles, mostly purple and also green and silver. Really pretty, and actually I had trouble finding anything too similar in my collection, so it's actually pretty unique. And then the last shimmer in here is this green multi-chrome. This is pretty spot on for one of the shades in the Janessa Meyrick's Lightwork 5 palette, which I'll compare later on in this video. And it's just absolutely stunning. So it has a sheer but deeper gray base. And then from straight on, it's almost like a silver. And then it shifts to an emerald green, blue, purple. On the flakier side, I would say it's a larger particle size, but it does smooth out once again to a shiny, almost foiled finish. That's the palette. I think it's a stunning color story. Now let's move on to the Present highlighter palette. So I'll be honest, I'm not a huge highlighter palette person. skin. It's not often that I wear a colorful highlight, but at the same time, I am a slut for iridescent multichromes and duochromes. I want them in every flavor, so I was excited about this palette. And I would say overall, they're on the thinner side. Small particle size, they do have a sparkly finish. It's more of a refined sparkle, but it is a sparkle. So if you don't like sparkly highlighters, I would say go ahead and pass on this unless you want to use it as eyeshadow. There are some pretty unique colors in here, and I will compare it later on to my other two multi-chrome highlighter palettes. So out of the three highlighter palettes I have, I would say this is the most quote-unquote wearable. I mean, as wearable as an iridescent multi-chrome highlighter palette can be, you know, but because of how thin and refined the sparkles are, I find it melts into my skin a bit more than some of the other highlighter palettes. But don't get me wrong, I mean, you definitely have a strong highlight on your face. So don't think you're getting like a natural lit from within type of look. On my skin tone, the shades I have used have not had a cast, but that's not saying much because I am very fair. I can't speak to what type of cast I believe on a deeper skin tone or different undertones. I have a fair olive undertone. There's one shade in this palette that I think might leave almost a chalky cast if you use too much of it, and it's the pink one. Okay, so I just looked at the price, and this is only $25. I think that is amazing for what you get because the other highlighter palettes I have are twice the price of this. I am planning to do an iridescent highlighter palette face off, so I am trying to get some more use out of all three of my iridescent highlighter palettes, and we're gonna see which one will take the crown. So stay tuned for that whenever I'm able to get that video up. It might take me a little while because I obviously want to wear all the shades in each palette throughout the day, and that's going to be a whole project in itself. So they also included this pigment mixing liquid, which retails for $8 USD. Now, do I know what a mixing liquid is supposed to do? I cannot say with confidence that I do. I'm honestly not sure. I think you're supposed to mix it in with like a loose eyeshadow, or I don't know. I guess I could Google it. All that's to say that I can't really speak to how this performs because I'm not qualified to assess the formula. Okay, so next I want to share the lip and cheek muds. I'm so fascinated by these. I'm really enjoying them so far. I hope they expand the range. So these are $8 USD. They sent me 2 shades. The way I would describe this is, I assume a lot of you are familiar with the Cloud Lab lip glaze from Kaleidos. They remind me of that formula, but as a blush. It is so unique. And when I first saw them swatch these, I was really intimidated because they look so pigmented, and don't get me wrong, they are, but the formula is so moussey and airy. It blends and blends and blends and blends. Claims to have a matte finish. I feel like when I've used it on my skin, it's been almost like a skin-like finish. I wouldn't say it's particularly mattifying. My favorite is Love Story, which is somewhere between a pink and a berry tone. And when I blend it out on my skin tone, it just gives me this really healthy flush. I take just the tiniest amount with my finger and tap it in. Then I use my usual brush for cream blush to blend it out. I have worn this on my lips. I wouldn't say it's any more long wearing than my usual lip product, but I will say it does fade away very gracefully. It does actually remind me a lot of the Kaleidos lip glaze on the lips in terms of like, it's like almost dry feeling, but also airy and moussey. I hope you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, really enjoy the formula. Please, Shellwe, if you're watching this, please release these in browns. The other shade they have is called Crush. This is just a straight up red. On my skin tone, when I blended this out, it was definitely more of a like blue tone red, if that makes sense. I think that's how you describe it, like a very cool tone red. And when I tell you, you just need the tiniest amount. Such a small amount, and it literally will cover your entire cheek. So you really need to go in with a light hand with these. But yeah, like I said, would love to see some more neutral everyday options in the formula. But overall, I'm a big fan both on the cheek. I think they do work on both the cheeks and the lips. For the first look, I'm going in with a flat, dense brush into that purple shade and mapping out the shape of a wing. There were some sparkles left over on the brush from God only knows, but this look is actually inspired by some of the looks that our multi-chrome overlord, aka Millie, aka Bad to the Brow, creates. And actually, I was just watching her video and she literally almost created the exact same look. So shout out Millie, but anyway, I'm just mapping out this wing and then diffusing it along the edges. With the same brush, I'm going into the black cream to powder. I don't think they've said anywhere that this is a cream to powder, but in my opinion, that's what it is. And I'm just adding a little bit of depth to the innermost part of the wing. and diffusing it into that purple shade. Then going in with my finger to the blue iridescent. It is so beautiful, and I'm just applying it all over my lid. I didn't use any tacky base because I didn't really feel like it as usual, but I am just swiping it on my lid, and then I realized it was a little bit patchy along the edges, but it was easy to fix with a brush, so I just went in with a tapered brush and kind of just buffed it along the edges, and as you can see, it blended out beautifully. I went back into the blue iridescent with a super small pencil brush, and I brought it underneath my lower lash line, also packed it more into my inner corner and brought it up into my swoop for a little bit more definition, and there's a finished look. I also applied one of the highlighters. I think it was the gold or green one from the highlighter palette. And yeah, I really like how this came out. Super simple, but very high impact. My favorite kinds of looks. For the second look, I'm going into this warmer tone purple with a medium blending brush, and I'm starting to pack this on my outer corner. This is on Unset Primer. It's the Ulta Beauty brand matte primer, and I did have a bit of trouble with this matte, to be honest with you. You can see in the footage it's not blending the best, and maybe this is a palette where you need to go from light to dark. Maybe I should have set the primer. Of course, I'm not going to have those opinions that come with long-term use. This is just a first impression. Please do not use my videos as a sole resource to determine the quality of something. But yeah, as you can see, I'm getting real up close and personal in the camera so you can see what it was blending out like. Went in with that lighter dusty purple and started to diffuse along the edges. This seemed to solve the problem, and I'm not super concerned about it because I'm planning to go in with a shimmer and cover that up. So I'm going into this beautiful green multi-chrome with my finger. Didn't use any tacky base, again, didn't really feel like it. And I'm starting to pat / swipe this on with my fingers. Very opaque in a one swipe application. Again, this is over Unset Matte Eye Primer. I think with a tacky base it would be even more foiled and reflective. So I went in with a brush to kind of fill in the rest of my eye. Then I went in with that same pencil brush from before and brought it underneath my lower lash line. Now I'm going into one of the sheer topper-ish shades, bringing it into my inner corner and up into my swoop, and then again mirroring that on my lower lash line. And there's a finished look. Really simple, but again, high impact, my favorite kinds of looks. Let me know which one was your favorite. Okay, now that I've done the two looks, let's go ahead and get into the comparisons. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts. Do you plan on picking up any of these up? Are they going on your wish list? I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!